Outpost Delta 9 was never meant to be important. It sat alone on a frozen rocky planet far from Earth. The sky was always gray. The wind never stopped howling. Nothing beautiful lived there. Only 42 humans called it home. Most were miners. They dug deep into the planet to pull out rare metals. A few were engineers. Only 6 soldiers protected the base. The walls were thin metal sheets. The weapons were old and slow. Some guns were older than the soldiers holding them. Earth sent supplies only once a year. Sometimes even that shipment was late. Many people believed Delta 9 would be abandoned one day. Everyone knew one truth. If a real enemy came, this place would die. Captain Mateo Reyes knew this better than anyone. He was the commander of Delta 9. A calm man with tired eyes. He walked the halls every day checking walls, doors, power lines. He knew every weakness. And there were many. That morning started like any other. Miners moved to their shifts. Machines hummed softly. Someone spilled coffee near the control room and laughed. Alex Carter, a young miner, wiped sweat from his face. He hated this planet, but it paid well. No one looked at the sky. Then everything changed. A deep sound shook the ground. Not thunder. Not wind. Something heavier. The base lights flickered. A loud alarm screamed to life. Wee wee. Red lights filled the corridors. People froze. Then panic exploded. A technician shouted, "Unknown objects in orbit." Captain Reyes ran into the command room. His hands moved fast over the controls. The main screen turned on. Everyone went silent. Massive ships filled the sky. Dark, sharp, alien. So many ships that the sun disappeared. The room felt cold. Someone whispered, "That's not possible." Captain Reyes knew what they were. The symbols on the ships were old and feared. "The Zorith Empire," he said quietly. Fear spread like fire. The Zorith were legends. Cold-blooded reptile warriors. They destroyed planets in hours. They never lost a war. Delta 9 was nothing to them. A warning message flashed on the screen. Not words. A signal of attack. The ground shook again. Dropships broke away from the fleet. They fell toward the base like metal claws. People screamed. A mother grabbed her child. Miners ran without knowing where to go. Captain Reyes took a deep breath. His voice was calm but heavy. "All personnel," he said, "listen carefully. We do not have hours. We have minutes." Silence followed his words. The outer sensors went dark. One by one. The defense cannons tried to fire. Only 2 shots came out. Both missed. The cannons died. Someone yelled, "Shields are failing." Captain Reyes closed his eyes for 1 second. Then he spoke again. "All soldiers to defense positions. All civilians move to inner halls. No panic. Follow the lights." Alex's heart pounded. He was just a miner. Not a soldier. Not a hero. He ran with others toward the storage sector. Behind them the base shook. A loud crash echoed through metal halls. The outer gate was gone. Alien boots hit the ground. Heavy. Slow. Confident. Security cameras showed tall figures moving inside the base. Thick armor. Long claws. Cold eyes. Human bullets hit them. And bounced off. A soldier fell. Then another. Blood spread across the floor. Captain Reyes watched everything from the command room. He did not shout. He did not cry. He simply watched the timer appear on the screen. 7 minutes. 7 minutes since first contact. 7 minutes, he whispered. Alex reached the main storage hall. He hid behind large metal crates with other miners. The room was huge. Dark. Filled with machines and pipes. Steam drifted from somewhere in the center. They heard screams echo closer. Metal doors were ripped open. Heavy footsteps moved toward them. Alex held his breath. His hands shook. He thought of Earth. Of blue skies. Of places that still felt safe. Outside, an empire waited. Inside, a forgotten colony prepared to die. The narrator's question hung in the air. How can 42 weak humans stop an army that never loses? The footsteps grew louder. And the timer kept counting down. The first Zorith soldier entered the base without fear. His heavy boots crushed metal plates under his feet. His armor was dark and thick. His yellow eyes scanned the hallway slowly. Behind him, more Zorith warriors followed. They moved like hunters. Come. Certain. Human soldiers opened fire. Old rifles screamed. Bullets flew. They hit the Zorith armor. And fell to the floor. Useless. The Zorith did not rush. They walked forward. One raised his weapon. A bright blast filled the hall. A human soldier dropped instantly. Blood spread across the wall. Another soldier tried to reload. Too slow. He was cut down. The Zorith marched deeper into outpost Delta 9. Room by room. Hall by hall. The base shook with explosions and screams. In the command room, Captain Reyes watched every screen. One camera went dark. Then another. Sector B lost, a technician said with a shaking voice. Medical bay, gone. Captain Reyes nodded. He expected this. The Zorith were doing exactly what they always did. They crushed resistance fast. Alex crouched behind a crate in the storage hall. His breathing was loud in his ears. Around him, miners huddled together. Some prayed. Some cried quietly. Some stared at nothing. A woman whispered, "They are killing everyone." Alex wanted to say something strong. But he had no words. The storage hall lights flickered. Steam hissed from thick pipes near the center of the room. The giant metal pot continued to boil. No one noticed it. The sound of metal tearing echoed nearby. The Zorith were close now. A door exploded inward. Two Zorith soldiers entered the hallway outside the storage hall. Their claws were wet with blood. They laughed. A low, deep sound. A human scream followed. Alex closed his eyes. In the command room, Captain Reyes spoke into the radio. "All units, fall back to the central hall." "Repeat. Fall back now." Static answered him. Most soldiers were already dead. Only 2 cameras still worked. On one screen, a soldier fired until his gun clicked empty. The Zorith tore him apart. The screen went black. The timer continued to run. 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Less than 5 minutes since the attack began. A Zorith commander spoke through the base speakers. His voice was deep and slow. "Humans," he said, "this colony is finished. Lay down your weapons. You will be remembered only as dust." Fear filled every corner of the base. Alex felt his legs weaken. He was not a warrior. He was a miner. He was not supposed to die like this. Heavy footsteps stopped outside the storage hall. A claw scratched the door. Slowly. Like a promise. Steam drifted across the floor. The Zorith paused. One tilted his head. "Heat," he hissed. They laughed again. The door slammed open. 3 Zorith warriors stepped inside. The steam wrapped around them. They raised their weapons. "Come out, humans," one growled. No one moved. Alex's heart felt like it would break his chest. The aliens walked forward. Step by step. Then something strange happened. One Zorith stopped. He growled in confusion. Another shifted his weight. Their armor began to glow faintly red. "Temperature rising," one said. They did not understand why. They moved deeper into the hall. Steam thickened. Vision dropped. Sweat rolled down Alex's face. But the aliens began to slow. Captain Reyes watched the storage hall camera. His eyes narrowed. He whispered, "Just like they said." Years ago, an old science report crossed his desk. Most commanders ignored it. Reyes did not. He turned to the last surviving soldier beside him. "Get to the hall," Reyes said. "Now." The soldier nodded and ran. Inside the storage hall, the Zorith started to breathe heavier. Their movements lost speed. One growled in pain. "What is this?" another shouted. Steam burned their scales. Alex noticed it. The aliens were hurting. For the first time since the attack began. The Zorith were not winning. The timer hit. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 minutes left. The storage hall became silent. Only steam. Only breathing. Alex clenched his fists. Fear was still there. But something new joined it. Hope. Very small. Very dangerous. The Zorith stood confused in the fog. They did not know. They had walked into the worst place in the entire base. And the humans were no longer running. The steam grew thicker. It rolled across the floor like a living thing. It climbed the walls. It swallowed the lights. Inside the storage hall, vision dropped to almost nothing. The Zorith warriors stopped moving. They did not panic. Not yet. They had crushed many worlds before. Humans were weak. This was only fog. One Zorith lifted his weapon and scanned the air. "Move forward," he ordered. They obeyed. Step by step they walked deeper into the steam. Their armor plates began to glow faint red. Inside the suits, heat alarms screamed. The Zorith ignored them. They were warriors. Pain was nothing. Alex stayed frozen behind the metal crate. His lungs burned from the hot air. Sweat soaked his clothes. But he was alive. The miners around him stayed silent. No crying. No movement. Only breathing. In the center of the hall, the giant metal pot continued to boil. Bubbles broke the surface violently. Steam blasted upward without pause. The control panel beside it blinked red. System failure, heat locked. No one had fixed it in years. No one thought it mattered. Until now. In the command room, Captain Reyes watched the camera feed. Steam covered everything. But he could see the heat readings. They were rising fast. Too fast. Reyes leaned closer to the screen. "Open the rest of the valves," he said quietly into the radio. No one answered. The base was almost silent. Then a weak signal came back. "This is Engineer Holt," a voice said. "I'm in the hall." Reyes replied, "Do it?" A loud hiss echoed through the base. More steam burst into the storage hall. The temperature jumped higher. The Zorth reacted. One warrior stumbled. Another slammed a fist against his armor. "This heat is wrong," one hissed. They tried to adjust their suits. Nothing worked. Zorth bodies were built for cold. Their blood slowed in heat. Their muscles weakened. They had never trained for this. Alex saw one Zorth drop to a knee. The sound was heavy. Metal hit metal. The alien growled in pain. Another Zorth grabbed him. "Stand," he ordered. But the fallen warrior could not move. Steam burned into his scales. The hall filled with alien breathing. Fast, rough, panicked. Alex felt his fear change. The monsters could bleed. The monsters could fall. A memory hit him. The boiling pot. Alex looked at it again. It was always hot. Always dangerous. Children were warned to stay away. He understood. This was not an accident. This was a trap. The Zorth commander outside the hall shouted orders. "Push forward. We finish them now." More Zorth soldiers entered the storage hall. Too many. They filled the room. Steam wrapped around them all. The heat became unbearable. One screamed. A high, sharp sound. Zorth did not scream. Not like that. Their armor glowed brighter. Warnings flashed inside their helmets. Critical heat. One alien dropped his weapon. Another tore his helmet off. That was a mistake. Hot steam burned his face instantly. He fell, claws scraping the floor. Alex covered his mouth. The miners stared in shock. No one had seen a Zorth fall before. On the timer screen outside the hall. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Captain Reyes moved fast. He left the command room. He grabbed an old rifle. He ran. The hall was becoming a furnace. The Zorth tried to retreat. Their movements were slow now. Heavy. Clumsy. They bumped into each other. Their strength was leaving them. Steam hissed louder. The boiling pot roared. Alex felt the heat suit around his chest warm but protect him. Mining gear. Built for heat. Built for danger. Not for war. But today, it mattered. A Zorth fell face first near Alex's crate. Green blood spread across the floor. The alien tried to crawl. He failed. Alex stared at it. The fear inside him cracked. The humans had something. Something the Zorth did not. Tom. The Zorth commander roared in anger. "This is impossible. This colony is weak." But weakness had become a weapon. The hall was no longer a shelter. It was an oven. And the Zorth were trapped inside. Alex tightened his grip on a metal tool. Not a weapon. But heavy. Strong. Useful. He was no longer hiding. He was waiting. In the steam, the hunters became the hunted. And Captain Reyes was almost there. The heat inside the storage hall kept rising. Not slowly. Not gently. It climbed like a living enemy. Steam pressed against the walls. Lights flickered and died one by one. The air felt thick, heavy, hard to breathe. The Zorth warriors were no longer laughing. Their confidence was gone. Their armor glowed bright red now, like burning metal. Inside their suits, alarms screamed without pause. Their bodies began to fail. Zorth were cold-blooded creatures. Their strength came from cold worlds. Heat slowed their blood. Heat weakened their muscles. No one outside their empire knew this. Except a few old human scientists. And one human commander who remembered. A Zorth warrior tried to lift his weapon. His arm shook. The weapon fell from his hand. It hit the floor with a loud crash. He stared at it, confused. This had never happened before. Another Zorth leaned against the wall. His breathing was fast and broken. Steam burned into the cracks of his armor. Pain finally reached his mind. He roared. A deep, angry sound that turned into a scream. The storage hall echoed with alien pain. Alex watched from behind his crate. His heart still raced. But fear was no longer in control. Shock replaced it. The monsters were breaking. A Zorth tried to run toward the exit. His legs failed. He collapsed. 2 others tried to help him. They fell together. Green blood spread across the hot floor and sizzled. The smell was sharp and bitter. Human miners covered their mouths. Some turned away. Others could not stop staring. The strongest army in the galaxy was dying in front of them. Captain Reyes entered the hall quietly. His heat suit protected him. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He scanned the room. He counted enemies. He counted time. The timer near the door blinked. 1 minute and 55 seconds. Less than 2 minutes. The Zorith commander shouted orders through the steam. Stand up. Fight. Kill them. But his soldiers could not obey. Their bodies refused. One Zorith slammed his fist into the floor in rage. The metal bent. Then his arm gave out. Pain took him. He screamed again. Alex noticed something else. The Zorith eyes. Once cold and cruel. Now wide. Now afraid. Fear had reached them. Captain Reyes raised his hand. He did not speak yet. He watched. He waited. The hall was a furnace now. Even humans felt the pressure. Sweat ran down their faces. Breathing was hard. But their suits held. Mining suits. Built for fire. Built for deep heat. The Zorith armor was not. The aliens tried to remove their helmets. Bad idea. One helmet came off. Steam hit bare scales. The Zorith screamed louder than any before. He felt claws scraping his own face. Alex flinched. War was not clean. War was not quiet. A Zorith crawled toward Alex's hiding place. The alien's strength was gone. His claws scratched weak lines into the floor. Alex stepped back. The alien reached out. Then stopped moving. Dead. Alex stared. He had not touched him. The heat had done everything. The timer flashed again. 1 minute and 20 seconds. The Zorith commander realized the truth. This was not an accident. This was planned. You tricked us, he roared. Captain Reyes finally spoke. His voice cut through the steam. You walked in by choice, Reyes said. You underestimated us. The commander tried to move forward. His steps were slow. Heavy. Each one took effort. Reyes lifted his old rifle. Not to shoot. Not yet. The Zorith commander fell to one knee. His armor cracked from heat stress. His breathing was loud and broken. Pride shattered. Alex felt something new. Pride. Human pride. They were fewer. They were weaker. But they were smarter. The Zorith Empire had strength. Humans had adaptation. The hall filled with silence between screams. Zorith bodies covered the floor. Some still moved. Most did not. Captain Reyes lowered his hand. This was the moment. The enemy was broken. Now came the answer. Now came the strike. The hunters had fallen. And the humans were about to rise. Captain Reyes lowered his hand. That was the signal. The humans moved. Not fast. Not loud. But with purpose. Hidden doors slid open along the storage hall walls. Old defense panels dropped down. Human soldiers stepped out from cover. They opened fire. The sound of gunshots filled the hall. This time the bullets worked. Zorith armor cracked. Weapons fell. Bodies dropped. The aliens tried to fight back. They failed. Their arms were weak. Their vision was blurred by steam. Their strength was gone. A Zorith tried to lift his rifle. He could not even hold it. A bullet hit his chest. He fell backward into the steam. Alex watched for 1 second. Then he moved. He grabbed a heavy mining tool. Not a weapon, but solid, strong. He ran forward. Fear was still there. But it was smaller now. Around him, miners followed. Men and women who never held guns before. They screamed. Not in fear. In anger. In release. They pushed Zorith bodies toward the center of the hall. Toward the boiling pot. Steam burned everything. One alien slipped. Another grabbed him. Both fell. Green blood splashed across the floor. The heat made it hiss. A Zorith tried to crawl away. Alex swung the tool. What? Metal hit armor. The alien collapsed. Alex's hands shook. But he did not stop. Captain Reyes moved through the hall. He fired calmly. One shot. One enemy. His old rifle worked perfectly now. A Zorith lunged at him. Too slow. Reyes stepped aside and fired again. The alien dropped. Human soldiers advanced together. They used walls. They used crates. They used the steam. The Zorith had no cover. No strength. No plan. This was not a battle. It was a collapse. The timer near the door blinked. 55 seconds. Less than 1 minute. More Zorith tried to enter the hall. They stopped at the doorway. Heat hit them like a wall. They screamed and pulled back. The trap was complete. Inside, aliens fell one by one. Alex saw a miner he knew fall. A Zorith blade cut him deep. Alex ran without thinking. He slammed his tool into the alien's side. The Zorith screamed. Another miner pushed the alien into the boiling pot. The sound was terrible. Steam exploded upward. The alien did not rise again. Alex backed away, breathing hard. This was real. This was war. The hall floor was slick with blood. Green and red mixed together. Steam made everything blurry. Captain Reyes shouted, "Clear the left side." Soldiers obeyed. They moved as one. Years of training mattered now. Even with old weapons. A Zorith warrior fell to his knees near the pot. His armor cracked open. Steam poured inside. He screamed and collapsed forward. The timer flashed again. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Alex looked around. Most of the Zorith were down. But something felt wrong. The air changed. A heavy presence pushed through the steam. The ground shook. Footsteps. Bigger. Slower. Stronger. Captain Reyes turned. His eyes narrowed. He knew that sound. "Commander," he whispered. The Zorith elite had arrived. Twice the size of the others. Thicker armor. Elite markings burned into his chest plate. He'd hurt him. But he kept moving. He roared in rage. One human soldier fired. The bullet bounced off. The commander swung his arm. The soldier flew across the hall. Alex froze. This was different. This enemy was not broken yet. The timer hit. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Captain Reyes raised his rifle. He aimed. He knew it would not be enough. The final fight had begun. And time was almost gone. The Zorith commander stepped forward through the steam. He was massive. His armor was thick, layered, and marked with symbols of rank. Heat burned his scales, but he ignored the pain. His strength was still there. Barely. The floor shook with each step. Human soldiers fired. Bullets hit his armor. They cracked the surface, but did not stop him. The commander roared. He charged. Captain Reyes moved to block him. "Fall back." Reyes shouted. The soldier was too slow. The Zorith commander grabbed him with one claw, lifted him, threw him across the hall. The body hit the wall and did not move. Alex felt fear return like a wave. This enemy was different. This enemy was not breaking. The commander swung his weapon. A wide, brutal arc. 2 humans fell. Steam swallowed their bodies. Captain Reyes fired again. The bullet hit the commander's chest. The armor cracked deeper. But the Zorith kept coming. His breathing was loud. Broken. But filled with rage. "You are nothing," the commander growled. "You are weak." Reyes stepped back. His rifle clicked empty. No more bullets. The timer blinked near the door. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. The commander rushed forward. Reyes had nowhere to go. Alex saw it. Something on the floor caught his eye. A broken Zorith helmet. Cracked. Still hot. Next to it, the boiling pot. Steam blasted upward. An idea formed. Not a smart one. Not a safe one. But the only one. Alex grabbed a metal container near the pot. He dipped it into the boiling liquid. Heat burned through his gloves. Pain shot up his arms. He screamed. But he did not stop. He ran. The Zorith commander raised his weapon to strike Reyes. Alex threw the boiling liquid. It hit the commander's face. Direct. The scream that followed was not anger. It was pure pain. The commander dropped his weapon. He clawed at his face. Steam burned into his eyes. He fell to his knees. The entire hall froze. Captain Reyes did not waste the moment. He pulled a sidearm from his belt. One bullet left. He aimed. The commander looked up. Fear filled his eyes. The shot fired. The bullet went through a crack in the armor. The Zorith commander fell forward. Dead. Silence hit the hall. Steam continued to hiss. The timer reached midnight. Exactly 7 minutes. Alex dropped the empty container. His hands shook. Pain burned through him. But he was alive. Captain Reyes stood still for a moment. Then he lowered his weapon. "It's over," he said. Slowly, humans stepped out from the steam. They looked around. Zorith bodies covered the floor. Not one moved. Only 30 humans still stood. Wounded. Exhausted. Alive. Alex leaned against a crate. His legs gave out. He sat down, breathing hard. He looked at his hands. They were shaking. But they had saved lives. Captain Reyes walked to him. He placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "You did good," Reyes said simply. Outside the base, the Zorith fleet waited. They expected victory. They expected silence. Instead, they received nothing. No signals. No commanders. No survivors. Confusion spread through their ships. Fear followed. The impossible had happened. Inside the hall, humans began to understand. They had won. Not with power. Not with numbers. But with thinking. With planning. With courage. The weakest outpost had survived. And the galaxy would soon learn the truth. Humans do not win by strength alone. They win by finding a way. Outside Outpost Delta 9, the Zorith fleet waited in silence. Their ships floated above the frozen planet like dark shadows. They expected a victory signal. They expected screams. They expected surrender. None came. Minutes passed. Then more. Inside the flagship, Zorith officers grew uneasy. Their ground force never failed. Not once. Not in hundreds of wars. A signal officer hissed, no response from the commander. Another checked the scanners. No life signs, he said slowly. Fear moved through the fleet. This was wrong. Very wrong. On the surface below, Outpost Delta 9 still stood. Scarred. Burnt. But alive. Inside the storage hall, the steam slowly faded. The heat lowered. Lights flickered back on. The floor was covered in Zorith bodies. Green blood dried on the metal. Broken weapons lay everywhere. Humans stood among the remains. Some leaned against walls. Some sat on the floor. Some held each other and cried. They were alive. Only 30 humans remained. They counted the fallen in silence. Friends. Family. Soldiers. Captain Reyes stood near the boiling pot. It still bubbled quietly. A small coffee mug lay on the floor nearby. Built. Forgotten. Next to it, a severed Zorith head. A strange symbol of the battle. Simple. Messy. Human. Alex looked at it and let out a shaky laugh. We really did this, he whispered. No one answered him. They were still in shock. Medical teams moved quickly. Wounds were treated. The injured were carried away. Captain Reyes activated the external cameras. The Zorith ships were moving. Slowly. Pulling back. They did not fire. They did not attack. They turned away. The Zorith Empire was retreating. A sound spread through the base. Laughter. Crying. Cheers. Some humans dropped to their knees. Others raised their fists. They had done the impossible. Captain Reyes spoke over the base speakers. His voice was tired but strong. Delta 9 survived, he said. We held. Silence followed. Then applause. Not loud. Not wild. But deep. Honest. The kind that comes after fear. Alex sat alone for a moment. He thought of Earth. Blue skies. Warm oceans. People who would never know what happened here. A forgotten outpost. Saved by boiling water and old machines. Saved by human thinking. Saved by refusing to die. Outside, the Zorith fleet jumped to warp. They fled. They would tell others. About a weak human colony. About 7 minutes. About heat. About fear. Across the galaxy, stories would spread. That humans were not the strongest. Not the fastest. Not the biggest. But they adapt. They plan. They turn weakness into weapons. Captain Reyes looked around the hall one last time. Then he smiled. Never underestimate humans, he said. The narrator closes the story. A frail outpost faced annihilation. Old walls. Old guns. Few people. Yet an empire fell back in minutes. Humans do not win because they are powerful. They win because they are human. They survive. They find a way. And when the galaxy comes for them, they answer.